I just have one question. When Cap needed help, if I'd asked you, would you have come?
I guess we'll never know. But if you had, you'd have never been caught.
I do some dumb things, and the people I love the most, they pay the price.
Thanks to you, we had to run. We're still running.
Let's go.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back. Like a partner.
Hold on. You gave her wings and blasters. So I take it you didn't have that tech available for me?
No, I did.
Hey everybody, Marvel is buzzing with the sound of the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp finally got our first trailer. Did not expect them to drop it this soon, but last night at the Black Panther premiere, they were just doing all the regular Instagram stories you would expect, like check out all this awesome stuff that's going on because Black Panther is freaking awesome. But then like right at the end of the night, the Instagram account was just like panning across all the banners on the red carpet. Then boom, trailer tomorrow. So I love the way that they tie this to Civil War because obviously this is going to be happening this summer. If you guys didn't know, the movie's coming out July 6th. So what's happening is in a couple weeks, we're going to get Black Panther. Then a couple months after that, we get Infinity War. And then a couple months after that, we get Ant-Man and the Wasp. Then we go into 2019 with Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, whatever Infinity Gauntlet title they give to that. And then Spider-Man Homecoming 2. So it is going to be crazy for the next 18 months with big Avengers level Marvel stuff going on. But in between that, you have all these other cool solo movies. So naturally, they're going to try and tie this to what's going on during Infinity War. But the cool thing about this movie, in addition to the fact that the Wasp is a total badass, is that they're bringing Janet Van Dyne back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, she was in the first movie, but you really only saw a version of the costume. And the funny thing about the trailer is that they tease them being on the run because of what happened during Civil War. So I'll explain a little bit about the plot, because they're still really ambiguous about where this happens relative to Infinity War, because these characters are involved in the next two Avengers films. But as you can see, the only thing in the trailer that actually places this in the timeline is the way they talk about Civil War happening in the past. Well, if you'd have brought me along, then you wouldn't have been caught. So you have to imagine that somehow Janet Van Dyne comes out of the quantum realm not having known everything that's happened since Marvel Phase 1. I think it was technically during the 80s, that flashback during the first Ant-Man film, because it was during the Cold War that she went down into the quantum realm to take down that bomb. Then Hank Pym said he was never able to find her again. So I'm guessing what'll happen is when they release the next trailer, that's when we'll finally see Michelle Pfeiffer as the Wasp come out of the quantum realm. But you do see a little bit of that tiny ship, so that might be how they get her out. But I'm curious to see if some of the villain stuff we see going on during the trailer also has something to do with the quantum realm. Because thinking about Micronauts, the whole idea is that there is a civilization that lives on that level. There's life down there, but in the way Doctor Strange teased the idea of multiple different realms, the multiverse, we're just slowly pushing into that. So I don't know how much the villain in the movie is going to be tied to that, or how much of the side plot that's going to be. But the main villain of the movie is Walton Goggins. We've known about that for a while. We finally found out who he's playing, though. It's Sonny Burch, and if he doesn't sound familiar, it's because he's a relatively minor character, but he's something in the vein of Obadiah Stane. So think somebody who's another one of those government contractors that sells weapons the way that Tony Stark stopped doing that, stopped being a dirtbag. I love the way that Ulysses Klaue talked about him, too. That's something that Tony Stark used to say to me, you're one of his. So you remember that Tony Stark used to hang out at a lot of these weapons conventions with these dirtbags that are now the villains of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But for the most part, the plot of the movie is them on the run because Hank Pym, for the longest time, like when he quit S.H.I.E.L.D. during that flashback in the first Ant-Man film, he was because he didn't want anybody, even S.H.I.E.L.D., to get their hands on his technology. So they had a little idea of what he was capable of. But because of the events of Civil War and all that cell phone footage they got out, like even Spider-Man took cell phone videos of their airport battle. Now everybody knows about Giant Man, all the crazy stuff that the Pym particles can do, so everybody wants their hands on it, the same way that everybody wants their hands on that sweet vibranium honey. But Team Ant-Man and the Wasp are kind of on their own because his company was kind of destroyed at the end of the Ant-Man movie, so we'll see what's going on a corporate level because it sounds like a lot of their technology starts leaking out a little bit. But I think what we're all really interested to see is if Michelle Pfeiffer, original Wasp, comes out of the quantum realm, will she and Hank Pym get any badass original Ant-Man and the Wasp moments during the film? Because you haven't seen Hank Pym in the costume except during that flashback in the first film. But the whole idea they're teasing with this, the idea of Ant-Man and the Wasp, is that now in present day, he has a partner. You need somebody to watch your back, Dad. But they did that back during the 70s and the 80s with the original versions of the characters. So hopefully we'll have some sort of moment like that. But just remember, all the stuff that you're seeing here, this cool chase scene, the fact that they're using an Atom Ant rift, I think it's Ants on the March is the name of the song, which is just hilarious. There's this whole other plot that's going on with the quantum realm that we haven't seen yet. But this is probably Walton Goggins' villain character. Usually, like, whoever the villain is from the comics, whatever they look like, they get some sort of crazy costume too, like we got with Yellow Jacket in the first Ant-Man film. But I do like the way that now they're using that shrinking and growing technology for more comedy, the way they did during Civil War. Like he throws the gas truck, not knowing it's a gas truck, and it almost kills a whole bunch of other Avengers.
Throw it at this. Now! Oh, come on! Oh, man, I thought it was a water truck.
But in this, you find out like Hank Pym built a little suitcase handle into his building, then grew it up to normal size, just for this joke so that he could wheel it away like it's some sort of luggage that he's taking to the airport. Like, nope, no big deal, just gonna cart my building away with all my technology inside of it. You also get a little bit of the Ant-Man mobile. It looks like they have that shrinking and growing technology, the Pym tech, built into the car itself. But the other really cool thing here is you're probably like, Lawrence Fishburne, what's he doing in this movie? Who's he playing? He's actually playing Goliath, who was sort of a secondary version of Giant Man. He was sort of like a backup Avenger that joined a later version of the team, but he perfected Pym particles and tried to get rid of some of the negative side effects that drove Hank Pym crazy. So the cool thing about this, though, everyone says they want the Netflix characters to cross over with the movies. In the comics, his character was married to Claire Temple. So it's just a comic book Easter egg. Obviously, that's not going to be the case in the movies. So in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think the way they're going to use the character is that he's just somebody who used to work with or alongside Hank Pym, who knows something about Pym particles. Maybe he'll get to do some cool Giant Man stuff in the future. But there's this whole idea that you have the secret history of Ant-Man and the Wasp because Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne used to be superheroes themselves a long, long time ago. And all the stuff you see with Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne is the new version of the Wasp is just the resurgence of that. So we'll see. Maybe Lawrence Fishburne, who's a badass himself, will get to do some really cool superhero stuff during the movie. But everybody, let me know in the comments, what do you think of the trailer so far? Obviously, this is only showing us like half of the movie. We haven't seen Janet Van Dyne yet, so I think we're all just waiting to see what she looks like during the film and if there's going to be any crazy multiple dimension quantum realm villain stuff going on. But just post all your questions in the comments below. I'll try to answer everything in the comments. Obviously, there's a lot of Black Panther stuff happening in the next couple of weeks. The Super Bowl trailers will be dropping this weekend, so I don't know if we're going to get a brand new Infinity War trailer. Probably some new Marvel stuff. Whatever drops, I will totally do a video for it, so no worries. So be sure to subscribe to get everything. And there is a new round of that Infinity Gauntlet giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just share the video using the tools on the watch page below. So click here to listen to Tom Hiddleston react to the Avengers Infinity War trailer, and click here for brand new Black Panther. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.